Hello, my dear young friends. Good morning. Sai Ram to you. Today, we are going to have the topic reading with understanding. And you are already familiar with the two words reading and understanding. And here, this unit is going to help you. You have to read with understanding that enables you to understand short theme-based passages. Because whenever you are reading newspaper and there would be short paragraphs or short stories or short incident basing on the particular theme. And you can understand it. And also you must be able to write something on such theme-based passages. And this particular unit is going to help you to read it and understand it and bring it in your practice using that skill. The second thing, you can answer the questions on those passages in your own words. This particular reading with understanding, the comprehension of passages, is 30 marks quantum in your examination question paper. That is why you must develop the general art of reading and understanding and trying to write on such theme-based topics. So, please remember that reading with understanding lessons, are very important because you have to comprehend the different passages and you must be able to catch the idea and you must be able to answer the questions that are set on it. Here in passage number 1, here you see the two pictures. A picture of school-going boy keeping his head on the table and asking for the help. What does it mean? He is full of stress. He is not able to understand what to do and what not to do because he is pressurized in the school, in the home, and in the society outside. And here, the picture of mother, you can call it, or a picture of a teacher. And the stress is not only on the part of the students, but that is going to be spread to the parents, to the teachers, and to the societal people. Here is one beautiful passage based on this stress. Before examinations, he takes the example of the students. Before examinations, many students are under tremendous stress. Examination itself is a word that causes worry. And that becomes a cause for the stress to their mind. But it is not just the students who are stressed. That doesn't mean that only students are stressed. Are they only people? No. And their teachers and the parents too face the same situation. Perhaps you must have seen in your own houses, your parents, oh come on, you read it, come on, write it, and I shall just correct it. In that way, they will be after you. And teachers, you have to do it, otherwise you will lose the marks, you won't get the ranks. Oh, so many. And they are also stressed, and also the students are also stressed. In the second paragraph, why do people get stressed? The author, the writer, wants to analyze the reasons of being stressed. What are they? Adolescence. Adolescence means what? This is teenage. From 13 to 19. These adolescents, they are all adolescent students, are faced with demands of their developmental tasks. Number one, they have got so many tasks, on which they can develop their career. They can develop their personality. So, they have got this problem of adjustment to acquire a complex society. They need to acquire skills of adjustment. There must be adjustment. Compromise करना पड़ता है. You have to just adjust. Why? To emerge into adulthood. Then only you will be a growing man. A man growing fully well. Fully equipped into adulthood, unaffected by these demands. They don't bother. Come on, you have calm and quiet mind. Okay. We have to do this. Okay. We have to do that to come up. Okay. So, you should have this adjustment. And then, if they lack these skills, what skills? Skills of adjustment. If particular adolescents, these young boys, teenagers, they lack these skills. Why should I adjust? Am I inferior to them? I don't want. I want to have my own stamp, my own chapa. In this way, if they lack these skills of adjustment, number one, or if too many demands made on them, second reason, and too many demands from the parents, hey, you should do this, you must come up like that, and you have to pass this examination. Teachers are also, yes, you are a very intelligent boy, you have to do. If you can't, if you don't, how can you come up? In this way, their demands are also more. And when these adolescents are pressurized like this, they fail. Fail in what? In coming up, in fulfilling the expectations, and in coming to that development, or you can say progress. Yes. Students are anxious. Usually, that is the characteristic feature of the students. Always anxious. Yes. Why? Because they are so anxious, I must complete it. I must read it. I must do so many anxieties. They are anxious. As they are worried about whether they would be able to live up to the expectations of their peers. So, their peers means other people of the same age. I must also be like that. I must come up. So, they have to meet the expectations of their peers, parents and teachers. Their parents are also anxious, ambitious. They are forcing them. And the teachers. You have not done that, so you will suffer. In that way, if they go on giving such threats and demands, then that improvement or that adjustment hampers. Optimal anxiety motivates. If your anxiety, okay, I must do that. Yes. This is optimal anxiety. And that is going to help you. If you don't have that kind of anxiety, you are not going to do anything. So, you should have. But, over anxiety is disabling. If you have got over anxiety, means you are not going to achieve anything. I must do that. So, if you go on doing like that, without doing anything, so naturally that amounts to over anxiety, and over anxiety, you will be, okay, I can't, and I don't want. In this way, you will be disappointed, distressed. So, you should not have over anxiety, but you should develop optimal anxiety. In the next paragraph, here, anxiety, the author tells about anxiety. Kutuhala, aturate, that anxiety is contagious. Contagious means it spreads from one person to the other very easily. Contagious. And it is going to affect the people who are very near to us. That passes on to other students and passes on to the teachers and passes on to the parents. So anxiety is not only ends with the students only, adults only. That is going to spread in the society with the other students, with the teachers and with the parents. Such things happen. Adolescents, when stressed out, if they are more stressed, if they are burdened with that, tend to perceive everything as an emergency. So emergency, I must do this. I must, all these emergencies start. But when they are stressed, they can't run away from the scene. They can't do that. So naturally, that leads to emergency. Emergency, you are all passing through that stage. Some of the reasons for increase in stress levels, anxiety, stress level, stress, force, pressure on the mind. Levels are identity crisis. Number one. This is number one. Identity crisis. What do you mean by the identity crisis? You are not able to use this identity crisis. What do you mean by the identity crisis? You want to be recognized. You want to be seen. You want to be lifted. You want to be appreciated. So, why? If it is like that, all right, this is done with me. What am I going to come up? Am I going to lose the battle? In this way, you will have that identity crisis because you want to have your own identity, your own chop, your own brand. That you can't do. That is number one. The need to make career-oriented decisions. And when you are more stressed, naturally what happens, you are not able to take career-oriented decisions. If, for example, if you are a good science student, you must either go to engineering courses or some science courses or some arts courses, career-oriented. And there, you fail to take decisions. Then you go, I want to do that. Oh, it is very difficult. Okay, is it possible for me? All these doubts arise in your mind. That is going to hamper to make career oriented. You can't decide. And also, you are going to have the teachers and parents' attitude. Attitude of the teachers and the parents is also a cause of stress. What would my teachers think? They have got more expectation from me in the class. What about my parents? They are the intelligent parents. They have got their own status. What if I don't live up to their expectations? What would happen to the attitude of the parents? So, if their attitude to the parents and teachers also is one of the reasons. And peer pressure. People of the very intelligent man. If you can't do, how can we do? In that way, the pressure of the people or the other fellow students will be there. In the society also, oh, you are very intelligent. You have to get the rank. They expect. So that also becomes the cause of the worry. The inability to communicate with parents also plays major role. Another most important point is that the students are not able to communicate with parents. They are not going to tell their parents. lest they may be disturbed. You think like that? And when you are not able to communicate freely, how can you solve your problem? This is the crisis in all the families, in the society. They are not able to know. They go to the mother, mummy, I don't want to do this. You tell your papa, oh no, I don't want. He suddenly gets angry. In this way, situations are there. And that you are failing to communicate, because communication is also the most important skill of life. If you can't communicate well, how can you make the other party to know about you? Isn't it? So, that also plays a major role. These are all the causes, reasons for being stressed. So, what should you must have the better communication skills. Okay. In that way, if you are going to establish a rapport between yourself and the teachers, between yourself and the parents, between yourself and the peers, so that would solve all the problems. Then, good memory depends upon a good brain. Remember that. You are all budding students, So remember, good memory depends upon a good brain. What do you mean by memory? Though it is a murray, and that murray is the product of what? Your calm and quiet mind, your interest. So, good memory depends upon a good brain. Remember, all these beautiful sentences also, you can use it. Not only in the same lesson, but in other ways also, you can use such beautiful sentences. The brain needs a good supply of oxygen. If the brain is going to, is supposed or if is expected to function well, so that needs what? Oxygen. Nowadays, oxygen is very scarce. You must have seen the flats. Then all the windows are shut. If there is a light, only tube light. If there is air, only fan air. So they are not going to have the oxygen at all. That is why you need the better atmosphere. Then glucose you need. Otherwise, and you must have seen the advertisements, glucon, Pluto, drinking. Wow! So glucose is essential. And calcium. Calcium tablets, some people will be for bones. Calcium for the bones. Phosphorus and iron. All these contents are essential. And you should see the food contains that, and also the better environment where you can find sufficient oxygen. So, make sure you sit in a well-ventilated place when studying. Usually our students, will be sitting in the dark corner depending upon the tube light. So, don't do that. Choose a better place where you can get sufficient air. And that is, you can do that. Your diet should include milk. Your food, your lunch, your dinner, your breakfast should have what? Milk. Cheese must be there. Walnut should be eaten. Wheat germ, green leafy vegetables, ragi and dates. All these things are vitaminous foods. You must take them in the sufficient quantity. It is easily said than done. In the middle class families, you can't get all that. But still, out of the less that you get, you make the most of it. So, you need all these things. Do not forget that breakfast is the brain food. Wonderful definition of a breakfast. So if somebody says, hey, why do you take the breakfast? Don't neglect breakfast. That is the brain food. That is why you must have heard the people saying the first meal should be a best meal. That is breakfast. You are going to break your fast for 12 hours, you have not taken anything. You are going to break. So that breakfast should be heavy. Fatty meals, sugar and acids take away calcium from the system. Fatty meals, having so many unwanted things. Fatty meals, which help to deposit more and more fat in the body. Sugar, eating more sweets, and acids, drinking that bottled drinks, So those acids, they are called acids, take away the calcium from the system. When the calcium is taken away, you will be weak. Calcium is not going to support you. And diets rich in fiber, you must try to have food, diets in fiber, which rich in fiber, like fruits and vegetables. Why there must be a good fiber? If there is a good fiber, digestion would be proper and you are taking the things, bad things out of the body. That will go, your bowels will be clear. When the bowels are clear, then everything is clear and you can have that wonderful personality, good brain. And diets rich in fiber like fruits and vegetables help to reduce that stress. So fibered food must be taken. That fibers is going to help to reduce the stress and that is going to give you that energy. And also the bowels will be clear. Clearing of the bowels is very important. Gentlemen, hello students, you should know that. Okay, then this is very important paragraph for you. So whenever somebody asks you, what is breakfast? Breakfast is the food of the brain. You must be able to quote it. So in this way, language must be used. And good concentration is important to improve the memory. Concentration is there. If there is no concentration, even if you sit for 1 hour in the class, so that is equal to 0. And you cannot become a hero. Only concentration that gets you good memory. Learning and memorizing by understanding. That is why comprehension plays a very important role. If you don't concentrate on the paragraph that you are going to read, so that is not going to, you are not going to understand properly and you can't recall it. When there is no digestion, how can you get the energy? Like that, if you can't recall, that is because of your poor understanding and poor memory. That is why understanding. So you have to stand very near to the word understanding. If you stand below, you can't understand anything. And organizing and framing logical relationships. Logic is very, very important in one's life. What is logic? If it happens, there is a sort of magic. There is a magic in that logic. And that organizing and framing a logical relationship is important. If, for example, if you are concentrating on English grammar, why should I learn parts of speech? Why should I learn figures of speech? If I want to speak with others, those words are going to help. If I want to impress upon the people, we must know figures of speech. Oh, there is a logical, yes, concern is there. Yes. And that logic is very important. That is going to happen when your memory is fine. When your memory is fine, when you have got a good concentration. Nowadays, concentration has become very scarce. They will be doing so many things. Without listening to that, they will have that. So that is there. And here, mastery not just of the content of the subject. Usually, what is happening with the modern students, they are very rich in content. That content rich reading will not be making a contented person in life. So, mastery not just of the content of the subject, but also the process of answering equally. That is also important. Some boys, will have so much of information, but if they are not able to keep them in order, in the logical order, what is the use? You can't impress. That is why you are all suffering from low marks in the examination. You know so many subjects, but you are not going to establish the proper relationship between the ideas. That is called logic. That is called logical consequence. So, if you are not bothered about that is because of what? Poor memory. So, you should have better concentration, better understanding, and better linking. If you have the ideas, no, you have to link your ideas. If you can't link your ideas, your ideas will be sunk, will be sinking. Now, anxiety, fear hamper recall. Anxiety and fear. Anxiety is there. Fear. That fear, they are going to hamper. Recall, and that is a great defect. If you can't recall, that is because of that. And result in a mental block. And that hampered recall result in mental block. You will be totally blank. What I have read? I am not able to recall. Again, that is going to have an effect on your knowledge, on the work that you have, the time you have spent on that particular work. And watching television for a long time could lower academic performance. We have seen nowadays, the boys are seeing the TV for a longer time. And nowadays, they are using more time on the mobiles. That is also equally dangerous. And that is going to steal away the reading time. So, the reading time is used for watching time, listening time. So, they are going to steal. Time management is about self-discipline. How can you manage? You have to manage your time well. That is your prerogative. Nobody can manage your time. You have to manage your own time. So, self-discipline must be there. So, you must have that. Oh, I have seen half an hour, I must see that TV. Okay, enough. In this way, if you decide, if you just have that self-discipline, that is going to help you. Time must be managed between filled and unfilled time. What is filled time? because that time is meant for your activities like what? Sleeping, you can't avoid. Bathing, eating, dressing, and attending the school. All these are the activities for your filled time. And after in 24 hours, if you just minus 14 hours, the 10 hours must be managed well. That 10 hours is unfilled time. You can fulfill your ambitions. So that unfilled time of 10 hours, must be managed very efficiently. How best is the student going to utilize this? You ask that question to yourself. How much time you are going to waste on unnecessary things? So, you must have a relook at your schedule, and you have to be serious to make a timetable for those 10 hours of unfilled time. If you can manage unfilled time, you can manage all the affairs of your life. Academic, familial, and social responsibilities. Okay, my dear students, this passage is not for only reading, but it is for understanding, and you have to what? Percolate all these ideas into your mind. Now, 7 to 8 hours of sleep is necessary because that comes under 14 hours. 7 or 8, okay, it is excellent, and it is necessary also. If you can't sleep well, you can't concentrate well, you can't get the rest. And for optimal physical rest and brain functioning, what? 7 to 8 hours of sleep is essential. If you want to manage the brain well, if you want to keep your brain in good humor, you have to use those 10 hours very finely and in a disciplined way. A positive thought is the seed for positive results. There is another point for you. A positive thoughts must be there. Yes, I shall be doing that. I know. I'm serious. I can. And that I can and I do, they are going to have that positive results. Always feel positive. Don't be negative in any way. If somebody scolds you, undermines you, don't bother. This will help you to lessen the stress. Thus, whatever the stress, that will be de-stressed. So, what is the point to distress yourself? Don't bother about others. But be disciplined to yourself. Manage your 10 hours time very well. If a student has symptoms of anxiety or depression, if he is not going to overcome by himself or by the parents or by the teachers, if he has got over anxiety, symptom and depression, that they must seek medical help immediately. So they must be referred to the doctor. Now we can have a good look at the glossary here. All the words that have been given here: tremendous, stress, anxious, and anxiety. Anxious is adjective, anxiety is noun. Unaffected, acquire, pierce, contagious, diet, hamper, optimal, lessen, and symptoms. And whatever that I felt difficult for you to decipher the meanings of certain words that have been listed for you, and they are self-explanatory. Go through that. Then, now the most important point is assignment. So here the direction is very simple. So there are so many things are given, statements are given. You have to say whether true or false. If it is true, write a T. If it is false, write F and you must correct it. For example, we shall do first. Only students get stressed before examinations. It is F because in the first paragraph only we have seen that is going to affect the teachers, that is going to affect the parents, that you have to write. Okay? You have to spend your time usefully. Try to understand and try to know the correct grip over that paragraph and also the questions there here. And failure to cope with developmental task is one of the sources of stress for adolescents. Yes, I have already come across. Yes, it is T. Like that, you have to do that. A person should lead a totally stress-free life. Then you can reduce stress by sharing your feelings and parents with the friends. Adopting good study habits can help reduce the examination fever. So how many T's of the 5 and how many F? One clue is there, 2F, 3T. So with this clue, you try to read the passage again and find the answer. Now here is also, so it is a wonderful exercise, a very easy exercise. You go back to the paragraphs to fill in the blanks. For example, almost everyone in society today suffers from dash. Go back. Suffer from stress. That is the word you got from the passage. So, such easy questions are there and you have to read and concentrate on those paragraphs and you have to recall and call the answer. Okay. Then and up to that you can do that. There are about 10 words you have to fill up and go through that paragraph again, and it is not at all difficult. Don't be under stress. De-stress yourselves and go back to the paragraphs. Okay. Then now here is a question. To use your conscience or understanding or your knowledge, select a suitable title for the passage from the options given. He has already given. You need not think over them. Number 1, examination fever. Can it be a good title? He is not talking only about, not about the only examination. He talks about so many things. So this cannot be good. Then stress in modern life. Students, adolescents, almost that is stress in modern life. And today's youth is not. That is also okay because he is talking about the youth only. Today's youth are suffering from stress. So why you have chosen that? Why you have chosen the today's youth and why you have chosen stress in modern life? That you have to give reasons. And there you have to think. You have to think well and link well and ink well. These are the 3 principles. And now one more question. What is that? Again you have to use your brain. Brain, if there is concentration and if there is a calm brain, you can get the answers. What is that? Answer the following in about 30 to 40 words. In your final examination, you have got maximum what? 6 marks question, you have to write 40 to 50 words. And number 1, what are the causes of stress for people in the society? Yeah, everything, all the points are given. You have to point out. Then number 2, what are the possible remedies suggested by the author to lessen or decrease the stress amongst the people? What is to be done? How that stress can be de-stressed? He has already given. I have already explained. You have already seen. You have already heard. Re-see them again. Re-study them again and prepare the answers for these questions. Okay? Thank you.